is labeled Epsilon.
Mm-hmm.
And in the caste system, Epsilon are the lowest ranking class in the caste system in Brave New World.
Mm-hmm.
They wear the color black, and they complete the more simple jobs in our society.
Yeah.
Epsilons are illiterate and have very low intelligence levels.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's... And then, of course, Alpha being UK, very arrogant, UK.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. They're always the alpha. Yeah, dang. So I can't find the exact article I was reading before. I should have just pushed it a little bit more. But what it is, so they convened this council of experts. And these are all experts who are like doing other stuff. And it took them months to come up with the idea of doing the Greek alphabet, which is like, it seems like about maybe a 45-minute meeting should have culminated in figuring this out. But they had so many other options.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are the other options? Like numbers, the English alphabet? Like what were they considering?
Yeah, right. So that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up. I can't remember all of them, but one of them was numbers, but for some reason they thought that wouldn't work, which look, it's going to be fine.
Numbers wouldn't work. They'll be confused with all the numbers.
Yeah, nobody will get the numbers. And it was hilarious in comparison to the Greek alphabet thing, because they specifically mentioned, if we run out of Greek alphabet variants, then we'll think of something else, they said. So I forget, there's something close to like 26. I don't know if it's exactly 26, but if they run out of numbers, which means they're expecting a pretty large amount of variants. They kind of are like expecting it to just go on forever, which I don't know if that's normal or not. That may be normal. Shoot, I might have to look, but yeah, the numbers they thought was just too. It wouldn't possibly work. Nobody would understand that. But there is also, part of the reason they wanted to rename it was because, it's basically social justice reasons. They didn't like how the India variant, the UK variant.
They didn't want to identify the location. This is still Orange Man bad type of thinking, right? Like the woke thinking where it's like, we don't want the China virus. Oh, that's racist. So
exactly.
Let's not do that. Let's come up with the
directly parallels the don't call it the China virus thing.
But what they don't realize, and I would have said this if I was in that meeting, by going with the Greek alphabet, this is Greek supremacy here. You're just...
I was going to bring that up. It is weird, isn't it? Like, the Greek alphabet is not just some ancient alphabet. That is an actual alphabet that they use in Greece.
Yeah. So they should, if they really wanted to do it, they should have done like some Chinese characters or something,
Oh, see, it'd be really inclusive.
Really inclusive.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm bringing up the article. Here it is. Okay, so the original one that I had read was from Stat News, and I'm just going to browse it real quick. It's not too long because I want to point out some of the things that we were doing here. I'm going to skip ahead because we kind of got the first part here. Here it is. Okay. Each variant will be given a name from the Greek alphabet in a bid to both simplify the public discussion and to strip some of the stigma from the emergence of new variants. A country may be more willing to report it has found a new variant if it knows the new version of the virus will be identified as Rho or Sigma rather than with the country's name. Maria Van Kerkhove, the WHO's coronavirus lead, told Stat in an interview. So part of it is they don't trust countries to actually report a new version because they don't want it named after them, which is, I don't know, might be kind of legit, I guess, but still weird. So let's skip
what it
down.
Says here? This is borderline Nephilim update. It says in the Stat News article, I don't know if it's the exact same one, It says for a while, the group considered names of Greek gods and goddesses.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm getting there. That's the whole thing.
Right.
When the 24 letters of the Greek alphabet have been exhausted, another series like it will be announced. So we don't know. Once we hit 24, we'll just think of something else. A plan to simplify the nomenclature of the variants has been in the works for several months, led by WHO's Virus Evolution Working Group, but it was surprisingly tricky to come up with an acceptable system, Van Kerkhoff said. Surprisingly tricky. The initial plan was to create a bunch of 2-syllable names that aren't words. Portmanteaus, said WHO's Frank Konings, who leads the working group. That is the most insane initial plan. I mean, that is what COVID is. So that's an example. COVID is a portmanteau of coronavirus. And so, it's already kind of, coronavirus disease is the portmanteau of COVID. So they were going to make up a new portmanteau for every single variant that comes out, which is the worst idea.
It's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Because then you'd probably have repeat half of it. So you have to come up with a variant of the variant.
Yeah. So you'd have COVID, then you'd have COVID. It's like, how many variants of that could you think of? But that was the bad pitch. That's the initial plan. That's a little
the
brainstorming.
The bad pitch is really bad. What they came up with is not much better.
That's how you start the brainstorming session with all these creative scientists. You throw out the worst possible option. Okay, let's continue. But it quickly became apparent that too many were actually already claimed. Some were the names of companies or locations. Others were family names. Combining 3 syllables didn't solve the problem, and 4 syllables became unwieldy. Can you believe the conversation actually got to 4-syllable portmanteaus? Of course this took months. See, the problem that they had is this was a panel of scientists and doctors and not PR people.
Yeah.
You get a group of PR people around, they'll figure that out for you in an afternoon. You got all these scientists to do it, and it just was unwieldy. For a while, the group considered names of Greek gods and goddesses, but that was eventually nixed. No further explanation.
I want to know that part of the conversation. What about Greek god? Oh yeah. What about?
Do you know how big the Greek pantheon actually is?
Yeah, well, because
I don't. That should seem like an easy Google search.
Well, I have a list here, and a lot of them are. You have your main gods and goddesses, and then you have kind of your hybrids and demigods. Yeah, so you have Athena, Dionysus, Poseidon, Hera.
Right.
Hephaestus,
sure.
Aphrodite, Artemis, Zeus, Ares, Demeter. Okay. Nix is one of them. They nixed it. Did you notice that?
Oh, that's funny. No, I didn't know that.
It was eventually nixed. I wonder if that was some,
That seems
cool
as stigmatizing as anything else.
Yeah, but who's going to be like, oh, the Hades variant was found.
Exactly. The Narcissus variant.
Thanatos is spreading like wildfire. It's like a horrible thing.
It just makes it way more scary.
Yeah. And then Nike's
Hades
a god too.
Has made it to the United States and is ravaging the East Coast. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's keep going.
Don't go outside. Zeus.
Also,
you'll catch Zeus.
Also, it's just weird that they ever did it based on Greek gods. You got the names of the planets. I guess those are Roman gods, things like that. Because it's
just protocol for these elites. It
was at one point, right? So there you go. It was at one point, somebody's religion, and you're just sort of naming things after it.
Maybe it still is their religion, which is why they constantly go back to. Wanting to use it. You got, all your NASA stuff, all the space stuff is named after, I think it's, like you said, it's Roman.
Why not name them after Bible characters?
The bad ones.
The Nimrod variant.
The Nephilim strain is here. That would really, I mean, if you really want our community to go wild, name a variant after the Nephilim, you know?
I'm pretty sure the Nephilim strain, like, is a book put out by Skywatch Publishing or something.
Yeah. And you can get all the tribes in there too, you know?
There you go. Let me continue.
Okay.
The idea of just numbering them 1, 2, 3, and so on was considered, but rejected because it was thought it would likely create confusion in the names the viruses are given in genetic sequence databases that track the evolution of SARS-CoV-2.
Why did they use colors?
It's the most boring.
Oh, colors is racist. Sorry, I can't.
You can't do colors, Gons.
Well, only certain colors would be. You know, there's not like green or yellow.
No, oh, I can't believe you said green on the show. You can't say that. Quote, we're not saying replace B117, but really just to try to help some of the dialogue with the average person. Van Kerkhove explained, quote, so that in public discourse, we could discuss some of these variants in a more easy to use language. The Greek alphabet suggestion drew the approval of the experts the WHO convened to come up with the naming system, some of whom were members with the International Committee on the Taxonomy of Viruses. That group is charged with naming new species of viruses. It named SARS-CoV-2. Wow, great job, guys. The virus that causes COVID-19, but it does not name subspecies of viruses, which is why it fell to the WHO. Quote, I heard it's sometimes quite a challenge to come up with an agreement with regards to nomenclature. This was a relatively straightforward discussion and getting to the point where everybody agreed. Okay, Konings, thank you. So you had a really easy time at it, is what he's trying to say. And yet it took months to figure out. So there you go. The reason we make such a big deal about this is because, you know, part of the value of this show is to point out trends and narratives as they develop so it doesn't catch anybody by surprise. One that I think we're the most proud of is the word jab had never once been used in the United States to describe a vaccine. We saw that coming, called it, and boom. Now everybody says jab. It's weird. Freaks me out. So keep an eye out for these Greek variant names. And especially in the context of vaccines, you know, you're going to get your alpha jab, your beta jab. It's an easy, marketable way to categorize, you know, your yearly updates, your yearly vaccine updates. It's time for that Epsilon jab, everybody. And then instead of getting your, you know, COVID vaccine batch number tattooed on your arm, you can just get the alphabet, the Greek alphabet. It'll be great.
I still wish they did the Greek gods and goddesses, just so you can be like, oh, I got my Apollo jab, but I'm worried about the Zeus strain.
Yeah, the Zeus strain is coming in fast.
All right. Okay. Well, speaking of variants, the World Health Organization article did not mention Vietnam. However, according to the Telegraph, Vietnam's very dangerous new hybrid variant may be fueling its worst outbreak so far. And it says here, Vietnam has suspended international flights from today into its capital, Hanoi, and commercial hub Ho Chi Minh City as it tries to control a suspected new hybrid coronavirus variant that it fears is fanning the Southeast Asian nation's worst outbreak of the pandemic. China has also tightened its border security as its neighbor, once considered a pandemic success story, now plans to test all 13 million residents of Ho Chi Minh City and tighten social distancing measures. Vietnam's plight follows a now familiar pattern of COVID-19 surges across Asia, most alarmingly in countries like Singapore, Laos, Thailand, and Taiwan that were praised for beating the virus in 2020, only to be caught out by a global vaccine shortage. A new variant's ricocheted back from coronavirus hotspots. It's ricocheting back and it bounced back.
Vaccine shortage?
Yeah. On Saturday, the Vietnamese authorities revealed they had discovered a, quote, very dangerous new coronavirus variant that combines mutations first found in India and the UK and which spreads quickly by air. I wonder what Greek alphabet is assigned to this one. I didn't see it in there, so maybe it's a...
Yeah, it hasn't caught on quite yet, apparently.
Health Minister Nguyen Thanh Long said Vietnam would soon publish genome data of the newly identified variant, which he said was more